All right, today I am going to show you how to sew the body of your pillow. We have some shears, we have our pin cushion, and we have our piece of fabric. By this point, everyone in class should already have their fabric pinned, but I'm going to show you anyway, just so you have a little reminder if you need to. So we have our fabric and we are going to fold it right sides together. So I should be looking at the wrong side of the fabric. This will eventually be the inside of my pillow. I start first by pinning all four corners. Corner number 1, corner number 2, corner number 3, and corner number 4. I am then going to pin this middle section here and this middle section here. Pin, pin, and last but not least, I will be pinning my hand hole. This space over here, I'm going to leave a little bit open. When I'm finished sewing my pillow, I will then be able to flip it right side out from this space. So I'm going to pin here. And these 2 pins will tell me something a little different is going to happen. So that tells me where I stop. All right, I'm all ready to start sewing. So at this point, I'm going to just turn my camera around so we can see the actual sewing machine. All right, and let me flip. Perfect. Okay. So here's my sewing machine. I'm going to take my foot pedal and place it on the floor. And I'll just bring my sewing machine a little bit closer. Let me realign this just a bit. Okay, wonderful. So here's my Bernina sewing machine. The first thing I'm going to do is take my fabric, and I want to make sure the threads that I have for my sewing machine, I should have 2. One is coming out of the bobbin and one is coming out of the top needle. I want these tails to be nice and long and draping over the side of my sewing machine here. These tails need to be nice and long. I then take my fabric so the folded side is pointing backwards, okay? I place my fabric right here at this top right-hand corner. Again, the folded side is pointing towards the back of my sewing machine. Whenever I take out a pin, I place it right into a pin cushion. I'm going to start with the edge of my fabric at the 5/8 seam allowance line. 5/8 seam allowance. If you look right here on this plate, you'll see line number 1, 2, 3. The 5/8 line is the third line. So the edge of your fabric will match up with that. I reach behind the machine and bring my pressure foot down. So my pressure foot's in the down position. I'm starting right at the edge. I'm going to start sewing about 5 stitches, and then I will back stitch. So here I go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I stop. I'm going to press this button right here twice, and we'll see the machine go in back stitch over here. So 1, 2. This U means I'm now in back stitch. So now my machine will go in reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is all the back stitching I need to do. I now press this button again, and now it's going forward. So I'm going to sew all the way down. I push on my foot pedal nice and gently. And when I come up to a pin, I take the pin out and I stick it into one of my pin cushions. Okay, let me move this just a little bit more straight. There we go. So I sew all the way down until I get to the corner. Here I go. All the way down, all the way down. I'm getting close to the corner. This pin might get in my way, so I'm going to take the pin out, put it into my pin cushion. When I get to this corner, I stop sewing. I stop sewing. I'm going to use my hand wheel, which is on the right-hand side of the machine, and bring the needle down into the fabric, okay? Turning the hand wheel, the needle came down into the fabric. Once my needle is all the way down, I lift my pressure foot, turn the fabric, and bring the pressure foot back down. I now sew until I get to my hand hole. So here we go. I'm sewing forward towards the hand hole. Now I backstitch because I'm about to cut my threads again. So I press the backstitch button twice. I go reverse, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press it once, forward, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I am done sewing this first part. I lift my pressure foot and I just pull the fabric. And you should see these threads here. I pull the fabric, then I will take a pair of shears and just cut those threads. Cut. All right, fantastic. I now have sewed in an L shape. I now start on the other side of my hand hole. So I'm leaving this space open here, and now I start on the other side of my hand hole. So I just put my needle down and in. I bring my pressure foot back down, and I will start sewing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I backstitch, press that twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've now backstitched. Now I go forward again. Sorry, just make sure your machine actually is not in backstitch anymore. So I go forward, stop when you get to that corner, take out that pin, stick it in your pin cushion, bring the needle down, lift, turn, back down, and we're going to finish sewing our last side. Here we go. Now we are at the end. We backstitch one last time. Backstitch 2, 3, 4, 5. Forward 2, 3, 4, 5. Finished. I lift up my pressure foot. I pull the fabric and I cut. All right. Let me readjust my camera and I'll show you how to flip everything inside out. All right. So I'm just going to readjust my camera really quick. Bear with me. Oop. Nope, this way. Oop, come on. Okay, perfect. So right now I have my pillow. I have this side here sewn, and here's my hand hole. I have this side here sewn, and here's my hand hole. If my hand hole pins are still in my fabric, I'm just going to take those out really quick because we don't need them anymore. So I'll take those out. And now I'm just going to get a pair of shears and look for any loose threads that I see. I'm just going to give those a quick trim. So cutting that thread, flip it over. I'm going to cut this thread. Down here on this side, I have some long threads, so I'm going to cut those. All right, see you later, threads. At this point, I can take my hand and go into my pillow, grab the bottom, and flip it right side out. So now I have this adorable little pillow. If you're doing this in class, yours will be a bit bigger than what mine is right here. But you want to make sure you poke out your corners. Corners are getting poked out. Here we go. And at this point, you have your pillow. You're ready to stuff this up using your hand tool. And then later, probably in a new video, I'll show you how to close off your pillow. Okay, everyone good? Fantastic.